Hello, my name is William and I wanted to make a guide on how to make extreme metal album covers for free using public domain artwork. A little background, a lot of people have been asking about what you can do if you can't afford custom artwork for your album cover or you don't want to use AI. So one solution to that is using public domain artwork, and that's artwork that's from an artist that has been dead for more than 75 to 100 years. So the copyright just expires after 75 to 100 years, depending on where the artist is from. I'm not 100% sure on the legal stuff, but 100 years after the artist is dead, then you're safe. So a lot of classical extreme metal albums has used public domain artwork. So it's definitely a good option if you don't want to hire someone or you don't want to use AI. One thing that you have to remember though is you will not own the copyright to your own album artwork because it's public domain. The first step is obviously to find artwork that suits your music. So for extreme metal you usually want something a bit dark and twisted and brutal. There's a couple of artists that you can try. Gustave Doré is a famous one. I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciations of the names, but Gustave Doré, Fransisco de Goya, also famous for his dark and scary paintings. Especially his later works were kind of messed up. This is one of his most famous, Saturn devouring his sun. Let me show you some other ones of this name. Hieronymus Bosch. These ones are quite famous. The Garden of Earthly Delights, which has been used, especially this part right up here to the right, it has been used for a lot of famous metal albums. This one is as well. William Blake is another one. Has this kind of style. This is quite famous as well. Frans Francken. Here's one. It's pretty good. Might suit a black metal album. Maybe this one with the demon devil guy at the bottom. Mankind's eternal dilemma. The choice between virtue and vice. Yeah, that's a good painting. When you find the artwork that you like, make sure you check the copyright on the artwork. You can see here in the bottom right corner it says public domain, and if we click it, it says this work is in the public domain in its country of origin and other countries and areas where the copyright term is the author's life plus 100 years or fewer. Wherever you are located, this is more than 100 years after the artist has died, so it's public domain. You can use it for whatever you want. Let's pick the highest resolution possible. Here it is. So once you have saved the artwork you want to use for the album cover, we can head over to a page called photop.com. Pretty much the same as Photoshop, but free and online. The layout and the functions are pretty much the same. So once you have the artwork you want to use and you're sure that it's public domain, let's create a new file. And this is assuming that you're going to use it for digital. So if you want to put it on a streaming platform, and they're probably going to request, from my experience, they request at least 3000 pixels resolution in a square. 3000 times 3000. This is in Swedish, so name, width, height, dots per inch. Doesn't matter because it's digital, so we're not going to print it anyway. If you want to do print, then there's some other things to take in considerations, and each printer usually has their own print templates that you have to use. So it's usually not exactly a square for CDs and vinyls and stuff like that. So usually it's about maybe 20% wider than the height. So yeah, let's go ahead and create the 3000 times 3000. This is for digital. Usually I just drag and drop it into the website. It should show up. Oh, it's behind the background. Okay, there it is. Let's go to edit, resize. It's basically a resize. Alt Control T. We get this indication that we can resize it. Just drag it out across the screen. And I think I'm gonna try to focus on the guy down at the bottom. Okay, it's lagging a little bit, but yeah, here we go. Come on. Okay, let's put him in the middle like that. Enter. Make it a little bit bigger. I can use okay, you can change the language actually, so yeah, let me change to English. So yeah, edit, free transform it's called. Yep. So yeah, I'm gonna use the free transform tool, and I'm gonna, let's make sure these are connected. Let me put it at 300%, a little bit bigger still. Let me move it and zoom in on the dude a bit. Maybe 350. I want to get rid of those toes and stuff up there. Yeah, here we go. Starting to look a lot better. Maybe a little bit more. 360. Move it up a bit. The dragon down there is very cute. Let me get the faces on the right and the left. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. So now we have, let me make it a little bit, I want to zoom it a little bit more. Free transform. Let's do 380. There we go. Okay, so I used the free transform tool to resize the image, focusing in on the demon devil guy here. So now let's add your band logotype. So I will use my band's logotype. I just drag and drop it in. Did I get it? Okay, so now it's a little bit big. Let's resize it 50%. See what size we get. Maybe we'll put it there. Yeah, I think this is in the middle. See if you can show rulers. Yeah, here you go, rulers, and let's put the rulers to % so that then you can see. Okay, so right, so if you get a hold on the left side and you just drag out, you get the line, so you can add it at 50%. So now you know that it's centered, which is kind of neat. Let's put it in the center for now. There we go. And let's, maybe I want to change the color a little bit. Maybe I don't want it perfectly white. So let's go to blending options. So on the right side here you have the layers. Right click and choose blending options. You get this menu. Let's go to color overlay, and here you just simply pick the color you want to use. And what's nice is you can use the color picker from the image itself. So maybe you want this red. It's a bit dark, not really good visibility. Let's go for a brighter color, maybe something like this. Maybe black. No, black doesn't show up well. Orange, no, like a light flesh tone. Yeah, maybe something like this is nice. And to make it extra visible, you can just put some drop shadow on it. and you'll have to just adjust it for yourself. You can change the opacity here, how much you want, maybe, and usually I just use a 90-degree angle, so it's straight from the top, and not too much opacity and not too much distance, so it just kind of makes a shadow around the logotype. So let's just see the difference we have here. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So here you have the logotype, and then you use the blending options. So now you can kind of see the drop shadow around the logotype if I turn it off and on. Let's put it a little bit, yeah, we can just put it at 0 distance. And then you can just check the opacity to see how much you want. Maybe something like this is good. You can see the difference here. Sometimes it's nice, sometimes you don't need it, so do as you wish. Maybe let's try a different color. Yeah, maybe something a bit more fiery. Yeah, depends on the genre, of course, but you can use gray, can be nice. Something a bit more fiery, or maybe something a bit more red can be nice as well. Yeah, you can just color pick, you know, from around the image. Yes, something like this can be nice, I think. Maybe a little bit brighter, a little bit desaturated. This is looking quite nice, I think. And you can back off a little bit to see how visible the logo is. You can zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that looks. Because usually when you look at your phone or when you look at the computer screen for the album artwork, it's usually quite small. You can use Control-H to hide the rulers that you're using. So yeah, this is looking quite nice to me. And let's go ahead and add the text. The text tool is over here, a type tool on the left. Let's just, yeah, there we go. A text frame. And usually I just drag it out to the edges. Like so, and let's try typing a little bit, see what happens. Okay, it's over there. Control-A to select the text. And let's center it. There we go. And change the size. So since this is a quite big file, it's 3000 times 3000 pixels, we can try 100, maybe a little bit more. Let's try 150. Change the color of the font, and like the easiest is to just use the same color for the logo and the text. Okay, let's just drag it down a little bit, like so. Okay, so to change the color you click over here, I guess. Yeah, next to the size, just click on the square to get select the same color. There we go. So yeah, now you see it's same color as the logo. Let's see if I can just copy the layer style. So the layer style is the color and any effects that you have on the logotype. Just choose copy layer style, and let's paste layer style. So now you see you get the slight shadow. Let's choose the blending options again. I want to go ahead and change it a little bit. Let's go ahead and change the font as well. Of course, there are infinite number of fonts that you can use. Let's just find something that looks a bit metal. So, okay, yeah, so I had to change the theme. So if you go to more and you go to theme, you can change it between these. So I moved to light gray instead of dark gray. So now that let's select the text here. There we go. Okay. So now I selected the text. Go and find a font that we like. Okay, this looks pretty cool. Dearest. Let's choose that one. See what happens. And what are we going to call this artwork? Mankind's Eternal Dilemma. That's a pretty cool name. The album, I mean, the album name, Mankind's Eternal Dilemma. Here we go. Okay, so now you can see it's kind of hard to read, to make out. It's not too bad, but I'd prefer if it was a little bit more visible. Let's go to blending options, color overlay. Let's just move it up a little bit. There we go. I think that's a little bit, maybe something like that. I don't want to make it too saturated, but yeah, maybe something like that is okay, I think. So yeah, let's use that color as well for the logotype. Layer style, copy, and just move it to the logotype. Layer style, paste. So now I have the same color on the logotype. It's a little bit brighter on the logo, but I don't mind it because it's pretty close to the. Actually, let's just try the color from his chest over here. That's a little too colorful to me. Maybe, yeah, there we go. That's nice. And let's copy that. Copy layer style, paste. Yeah, it's quite bright, but I think it works on the overall composition. I think that looks pretty good. You can also add like a slight dark gradient to the edge of the image. Usually I just select it like this. So if we want to do a black border or like a dark fade to the corners, which can be nice sometimes depending on the artwork. Let's select. Modify, contract, 200. There we go. Select inverse, so you get this part selected. And select modify feather, because I want to make it a bit smoother on the inside. So let's make 100 pixels. There we go. And now let's use Alt backspace. There we go. Let's deselect it. So now you see it's got a nice smoothness to the selection, and now you can use opacity to change it if you want to make it just a little bit less visible. Maybe something like this. Yeah, that's looking pretty good, I think. Now you can also add like textures and stuff on top of this. I can maybe I can show you real quick. Just sometimes I use Unsplash because they got really crisp, high resolution imagery, but it depends. You can also just use Google Images, old paper texture. Yeah, so using Google Images, you can use, it's called, I don't know what it's in English, but basically copyrights. You can use Creative Commons licenses. So let's just choose one. I don't think it needs a texture because it really already has texture. If you want to add texture to it, like dirt and grime, maybe like grime texture. And Creative Commons licenses. Here we can. Here we have a texture. Just drag and drop it to your desktop. And let's drag and drop it. I mean, for this kind of picture, I wouldn't use it, but I want to show you anyway. Let's add it. Oh, there we go. Just drag and drop it into the canvas. Let's drag it out to cover the whole. It seems like it's some kind of rock texture. Resize it and push it a little bit up like that. And then you can just use. I would recommend it putting the layer just above the artwork, so it doesn't affect the texts or the logotype or anything like that. Put multiply. You can just try different layer styles. Usually I use multiply, or screen might work as well. Depends on what kind of effect you want. But multiply, and let's just drag down the opacity so it's not too much. Yeah, maybe something like that. So it gets a little bit, you get a little bit of an effect. Zoom in and see. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I don't think you really need it for this kind of artwork. I think it looks better without the textures. But yeah, that's how you do that. It's better for like if you're taking a band photo and you want to use a band photo for an album cover, then you can put some textures and just experiment. Yeah, so now just I've already saved it as a PSD file on your local computer. Yeah, I've already saved it, so let's just save it again. And now you just export it as usually, I mean, you can export it as a PNG or JPEG, but I think a JPEG is alright. This is usually what I do. I just crank it up to 100% quality and call it Eternal Dilemma. Save. And then there you have the file saved locally on your computer, downloaded. Now you have the artwork for your album or single or whatever, but remember that you do not own the copyright to the artwork, because it's still public domain, so anyone else can use exactly the same artwork as you. But yeah, that's just part of the deal. At least it's free. So yeah, I hope that helps, and if you have any questions and feedback, just let me know and I'll see if I can help you out. Yeah, good luck. Have fun. Cheers.